Car accidents prove one thing: physics works, humans just refuse to cooperate. 1. The car that ended up on a rooftop, with no ramp in sight. Police arrived expecting a normal crash report. What they found instead was a sedan calmly parked on the roof of a two-story house. No skid marks, no hill, no nearby ramp, just a car chilling above the gutters like it paid rent. The driver survived and claimed they lost control, which is technically true, but aggressively incomplete. Investigators concluded the car hit a curb at the exact wrong angle, launched itself like a confused missile, clipped a tree, and somehow achieved architectural success. Engineers later confirmed the odds were absurdly low, like winning the lottery while being struck by lightning. The homeowner was mostly upset about one thing: insurance didn't have a category for vehicle fell from the sky. Somewhere, Gravity filed a formal complaint and asked to speak to management. 2. The crash where everyone walked away, except the car. On a quiet highway, a compact car drifted off the road, flipped multiple times, bounced off a guardrail, and landed upside down in a ditch like it was tucking itself in for a nap. The photos looked fatal. Emergency responders arrived expecting silence. Instead, 4 people climbed out, brushed themselves off, and asked if anyone had seen their phone charger. No major injuries, not even dramatic limping. The car, however, looked like it had been through a blender set to rage. Experts later explained that modern crumple zones did exactly what they were designed to do: sacrifice the vehicle completely to save the humans. It's comforting until you realize the car did its job by violently self-destructing. Basically, the vehicle died so the passengers could keep arguing about directions. 3. The accident caused by a bee. This crash started with a perfectly normal drive and ended with a police report that included the phrase "aggressive insect." A bee flew into the car through an open window, immediately choosing chaos. The driver panicked, swatted wildly, let go of the steering wheel, and veered into a parked truck at low speed. No one was seriously hurt, but witnesses described the scene as confusing and undignified. The bee escaped without injuries or consequences. Insurance companies hate cases like this because there's no checkbox for "nature chose violence." The driver insisted it was self-defense. Technically, they're not wrong. Still, it's unsettling to know that thousands of pounds of metal, engineering, and safety testing can be undone by one small insect with bad timing and zero respect for traffic laws. 4. The crash that ended. Inside, a living room residents heard a loud bang, then the unmistakable sound of their couch being rearranged by a sedan. A car had missed a turn, crossed a lawn, smashed through a wall, and parked itself inside a living room like it was late for movie night. The driver claimed the sun was in their eyes, which is impressive considering the sun is rarely responsible for architectural renovations. Miraculously, no one inside the house was injured, though the TV was absolutely not as lucky. Police noted the car narrowly missed a load-bearing wall, which turned this from a tragedy into an expensive anecdote. The homeowner later said the strangest part wasn't the crash, it was the driver apologizing for tracking mud on the carpet. Insurance adjusters now classify the incident as hostile interior decorating. 5. The accident caused by cruise control, emotionally. On a straight, empty highway, a driver set cruise control, relaxed, and somehow drifted into a guardrail at full speed. No weather issues, no traffic, no animals, just vibes. Investigators found no mechanical failure. The cruise control worked perfectly. The problem was the human using it like autopilot. The driver admitted they thought the car would handle small corrections on its own, which is optimistic for a machine that still can't tell a paper bag from a child. The crash wasn't deadly, but the report was brutal. Driver overestimated technology. The car sustained major damage, while the driver suffered only embarrassment and a lifelong distrust of buttons labeled easy. This accident wasn't caused by speed. It was caused by confidence, and confidence, as always, was misplaced. 6. The parking lot crash at 2 miles per hour. Nothing humbles humanity faster than a crash that happens slower than walking speed. In a grocery store parking lot, a driver gently rolled forward, misjudged the distance, panicked, slammed the gas instead of the brake, and launched their car straight into a storefront window. At 2 miles per hour, the glass shattered dramatically, which really sold the moment. Witnesses described the crash as confusing but enthusiastic. No one was seriously hurt, but the driver insisted the car suddenly accelerated, which investigators later translated to foot panic. The store reopened the next day, now featuring a new support pillar and a policy banning cars from entering through the front. The crash proved one thing: speed doesn't cause accidents. Humans do, even when barely moving. 7. The accident where the car hit itself. In a rare display of self-sabotage, a driver managed to crash into their own parked car. After pulling into their driveway, they stepped out briefly, forgot to put the car in park, and watched in slow-motion horror as it rolled backward, turned slightly, and collided with the car behind it, which was also theirs. Police described the scene as technically impressive. No laws were broken, but dignity took a serious hit. The driver tried explaining the situation to insurance, who reportedly asked, "So, you hit yourself?" This accident injured no one except pride and possibly the concept of accountability. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest threat on the road isn't traffic. It's forgetting one small step and letting gravity take the wheel. 8. The crash. That looked like a magic trick. During rush hour, a car vanished from traffic, not metaphorically, but physically. Witnesses swore it simply disappeared. Minutes later, emergency crews found the vehicle wedged between two concrete barriers beneath an overpass, completely invisible from the road. No skid marks, no obvious entry path. The car had clipped a barrier at just the right angle, spun, dropped, and slid perfectly into a space that looked intentionally designed to hide it. The driver survived and admitted they had no idea what happened. Engineers later confirmed the maneuver was statistically ridiculous, not impossible, just unlikely enough to make physics uncomfortable. The crash scene became a local legend because it looked less like an accident and more like the car rage quit reality. 9. The crash. Caused by a GPS that meant well. This accident started with a phrase that has destroyed more bumpers than speed. "Turn right now." The driver followed the GPS without hesitation, confidently steering off the road and straight into a narrow pedestrian tunnel. Not a road, not even remotely a road, just stairs, concrete walls, and confusion. The car wedged itself perfectly, like it was custom built to get stuck there forever. When police arrived, the driver calmly explained that the navigation system told them to turn. And it did, just not for cars. The route was technically correct for pedestrians. This wasn't a software failure. It was blind trust. The vehicle had to be removed by crane, tourists took photos, and the GPS recalculated like nothing happened. This crash proved that technology can guide you anywhere, including places you absolutely should not be. 10. The accident that happened because of a sneeze. Sometimes disaster doesn't come from speed, weather, or distractions. Sometimes it comes from your own face. A driver cruising at a low speed suddenly sneezed, hard. Eyes closed, body jerked, hands tensed, steering wheel yanked. In less than a second, the car drifted and collided with a parked vehicle. No one was seriously hurt, but the police report included the most humiliating cause imaginable: uncontrolled sneeze. There was no phone, no radio, no external factor to blame, just biology betraying its owner. Insurance companies hate these cases because there's no checkbox for nasal betrayal. The sneeze escaped consequences. The driver didn't. It's a brutal reminder that humans operate heavy machinery while being held together by fragile reflexes, allergies, and sinuses that clearly don't respect traffic laws. 11. The crash. Where no one was driving. Police responded to a collision and were immediately confused. Two cars had been damaged, but there was no driver in sight. After a moment of investigation, they realized the truth. One car had rolled forward completely on its own. The owner had stepped out for just a second and forgotten to put it in park. Gravity did the rest. The vehicle slowly crossed the lot and gently slammed into another parked car, also owned by the same person. Technically, the driver hit themselves without being inside the vehicle. The police report stated, "Vehicle moved without operator," which sounds like the beginning of a robot uprising, but was really just human forgetfulness. No injuries occurred, but explaining this to insurance required courage, diagrams, and acceptance. Sometimes the biggest threat isn't traffic, it's forgetting one simple step. 12. The crash triggered by hot coffee. This accident was caused by something far more dangerous than speeding: a cup of hot coffee. The driver hit a small bump, the lid failed, and boiling liquid spilled directly onto their lap. Panic took over. Hands flew off the wheel, feet lost coordination, and the car veered into a pole at low speed. Everyone survived. The coffee did not. The police report listed the cause as hot beverage distraction, which is both accurate and deeply embarrassing. There was no reckless driving, no alcohol, no phone, just caffeine and bad timing. The irony is brutal. The drink meant to keep the driver alert caused the exact opposite. This crash is a reminder that modern driving risks include not just other cars, but poorly designed lids and drinks served at the temperature of the sun. 13. The crash that happened during perfect parking. Everything was going right. Slow speed, careful alignment, a flawless parking attempt unfolding beautifully. Then, at the final moment, the driver pressed the wrong pedal. Instead of braking, the car surged forward and smashed into a concrete wall with surprising enthusiasm. Witnesses said it happened instantly. Calm, 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 chaos. No one was hurt, but the damage was impressive for a situation moving slower than a shopping cart. The driver couldn't explain it beyond muscle memory. And that's the terrifying part. Your brain doesn't always double-check. It assumes. And when it assumes wrong, your bumper pays the price. This crash proves that accidents don't always happen at high speeds or in dramatic conditions. Sometimes they happen when you're doing everything right, except one tiny catastrophic movement. 14. The accident caused by a friendly wave. This crash took exactly 1 second and zero bad intentions. A driver spotted a friend on the sidewalk, smiled, lifted a hand to wave, and gently rear-ended a parked car. Cameras showed the moment clearly. Eyes off the road, hand up, impact. No speeding, no distraction beyond basic human politeness. The driver later joked that they should have nodded instead. Police classified it as inattentive driving, but everyone agreed it was the least aggressive crash imaginable. Still, bumpers were damaged, insurance claims were filed, and a simple greeting turned expensive. It's a perfect example of how cars punish even harmless social instincts. Humans evolved to communicate. Cars evolved to go forward. When those two things overlap, something usually dents. 15. The crash. With no explanation at all, this one bothered everyone. A car was traveling on a straight, dry road with clear visibility and no other vehicles nearby. Suddenly, it left the roadway and flipped. No braking, no swerving, no mechanical failure. Data from the car showed nothing abnormal. The driver survived and could not explain what happened. Police investigated thoroughly and concluded with the most unsettling phrase possible: cause undetermined. These are the accidents that stay with people, not because they're dramatic, but because they defy logic. There was no lesson to learn, no mistake to avoid, just a reminder that even when conditions are perfect and you do everything right, reality doesn't always cooperate. It's the kind of crash that makes everyone quietly grip the steering wheel a little tighter afterward. 16. The accident caused by a falling sandwich. This crash began with lunch. A driver unwrapped a sandwich, took one bite, and watched the rest slide off their lap toward the floor. Instead of letting it go, they chose violence, reaching down to save it. In that exact moment, the car drifted, hopped a curb, and struck a street sign. The sandwich was lost anyway. Police reports are brutally honest, and this one noted, driver distracted while attempting to retrieve food. No speeding, no weather issues, just hunger and optimism. The irony is painful. The crash cost thousands, the sandwich cost $6, and neither survived. This accident proves that humans will risk everything for food they already dropped. Gravity always wins, and sandwiches are replaceable. Cars are not. But in the heat of the moment, common sense is apparently optional. 17. The crash that happened while reversing perfectly. Backing up seems harmless, slow speed, full control. Except this driver reversed straight into a deep drainage ditch they didn't know existed. The car tilted, slid, and gently toppled sideways like it was lying down for a nap. No injuries, no dramatic impact, just confusion. The driver insisted they checked mirrors, looked around, and moved carefully. They did. The ditch was simply invisible from the driver's seat. Police noted the scene looked staged, like someone intentionally parked there. It wasn't. It was a perfect storm of bad angles and false confidence. This accident didn't happen because of recklessness. It happened because humans trust their perspective too much. Cars don't forgive blind spots, even polite, careful ones. 18. The accident caused by a phone that didn't even ring. This crash wasn't caused by texting, or calling, or answering anything. It happened because a phone vibrated. The driver felt the buzz, glanced down instinctively, and drifted just enough to clip. Another vehicle. The message? Completely unimportant. But the damage was real. The police report didn't list phone usage, just momentary distraction. That's somehow worse. No intentional rule breaking, just muscle memory reacting faster than logic. This accident highlights the modern problem. Phones don't need to demand attention anymore. They trained us. One vibration is enough to pull eyes, hands, and focus away from a 2-ton machine moving at speed. The crash didn't happen because of technology. It happened because technology rewired the driver's reflexes, and then waited quietly. 19. The crash that happened at a red light. Everyone was stopped. No movement, no traffic flow. Then one car gently rolled forward and tapped the bumper ahead. No brake failure, no push from behind. The driver simply relaxed their foot for half a second. That was enough. It sounds ridiculous, because it is. But police deal with these constantly. The driver claimed they thought the light turned green. It hadn't. Nothing had changed except their patience ran out. This accident caused minimal damage but maximum embarrassment. It proves that crashes don't always come from chaos. Sometimes they come from boredom. Stopped traffic lulls people into thinking nothing can happen, right until something does. 20. The accident. Where the car flipped at low speed. Flipping a car sounds dramatic. This one happened under 25 mph. The vehicle clipped a curb at the wrong angle, climbed it, and rolled onto its side like it gave up on being upright. Witnesses were stunned because nothing about the situation screamed roll over. No chase, no speeding, just geometry behaving aggressively. Engineers later explained that certain vehicles, when struck just right, will obey physics without mercy. The driver walked away confused. The car did not. This crash is unsettling because it breaks expectations. People assume danger requires speed. It doesn't. Sometimes it only requires the wrong angle and bad luck. 21. The crash caused by overthinking. This accident wasn't panic. It was too much thinking. A driver approached a complex intersection, hesitated, reconsidered, hesitated again, and changed their mind mid-turn. That moment of indecision caused them to stop where no one expects a stop, and they were rear-ended immediately. The other driver had no time to react because no one predicts hesitation in motion. Police cited failure to commit. It sounds harsh, but accurate. Driving punishes uncertainty. This crash proves that sometimes confidence matters more than perfection. Overthinking doesn't make roads safer. It makes them unpredictable. Cars expect decisions, not debates. 22. The accident caused by letting someone merge politely. This crash began with kindness. A driver slowed down to let another car merge. The merging driver hesitated. The first driver waved them in. The second driver waved back. Both cars stopped. Everyone panicked. Traffic logic collapsed completely. A third driver behind them, expecting movement instead of a friendly standoff, rear-ended the situation. No one was angry. Everyone was embarrassed. Police described it as a failure to communicate through excessive politeness. The accident wasn't caused by aggression, speed, or distraction. It was caused by manners. Roads are not designed for social negotiations. They are built on assumptions. Green means go, merging means commit. When drivers start hosting courtesy conferences at 40 mph, chaos follows. This crash proves that being nice is great, just not when operating 2 tons of moving metal. 23. The crash that started with adjusting the seat. The driver felt uncomfortable. The seat was just slightly off. Instead of pulling over, they reached down to adjust it while driving slowly through a residential area. The seat suddenly slid backward farther than expected. Arms straightened. Steering control vanished for a moment. That moment was enough to drift into a parked car. No speed, no weather, no distractions beyond a chair. The police report noted seat adjustment during motion, which sounds harmless until you see the damage. This accident highlights a strange truth. Modern cars are full of features that absolutely should not be touched while moving. Seats, mirrors, climate controls, they all feel safe until they aren't. The crash wasn't dramatic. It was deeply inconvenient, and it proved that comfort is never worth experimenting with while the car is still rolling. 24. The accident caused by looking at an accident one, crash caused another, because people couldn't stop staring. A minor accident occurred on the opposite side of the road. Drivers slowed down to look. then slowed more, then forgot they were still driving. One vehicle drifted forward and rear-ended the car ahead at low speed. Police called it a rubbernecking collision. No injuries, but plenty of irony. The original crash wasn't severe. The second one existed purely because humans cannot resist spectacle. Even when nothing interesting is happening anymore, people will still stare. This accident proves that curiosity is dangerous when paired with momentum. Cars don't care what you're looking at. They only care about distance. And the moment attention shifts from road to drama, physics quietly prepares paperwork. 25. The crash caused by a sudden change of mind. The driver committed to a turn, then changed their mind halfway through it. That decision created a car positioned diagonally across two lanes, moving unpredictably and confusing everyone nearby. Another driver reacted late and clipped the rear quarter panel. Police reports describe the cause as improper lane commitment, which is a polite way of saying hesitation killed momentum. This crash didn't involve speed, distraction, or intoxication. It involved indecision. Roads punish uncertainty. Other drivers expect consistency, not debates. When someone rethinks life choices in the middle of traffic, everyone pays. This accident serves as a lesson. Once you decide, finish it. Wrong turns are fixable. Half decisions are not. 26. The accident that happened while following every rule. The driver wasn't speeding, they weren't distracted. They signaled, checked mirrors, maintained distance, and followed the law perfectly. Then another car lost control and hit them anyway. Sometimes doing everything right still results in a crash. Police confirmed zero fault. The driver still needed repairs, paperwork, and patience. This accident is frustrating because it breaks the idea that good behavior guarantees safety. It doesn't. Roads are shared environments, and control is limited. You can reduce risk, not eliminate it. This crash didn't teach a lesson. It delivered a reminder. Responsibility does not equal immunity. Sometimes accidents happen because reality rolls bad dice. 27. The crash that left. Everyone asking how. This final crash defied explanation. A car was found balanced perfectly on a concrete divider, undamaged underneath, with no visible ramp or slope nearby. No witnesses saw it happen. Tire marks didn't explain the angle. The driver survived and couldn't explain how they got there. Engineers reviewed photos and shrugged. Police reports included diagrams, speculation, and finally acceptance. Not every crash fits logic neatly. Some sit outside probability, waiting to be shared online with captions like, "How?" This accident became famous not because of damage or injuries, but because it broke intuition. It reminded everyone that sometimes physics cooperates with chaos, and the result looks impossible until proven otherwise. Car accidents don't always come from speed, danger, or bad intentions. Sometimes they come from sneezes, sandwiches, kindness, and confidence. So next time you're driving and think, "That won't happen to me," remember, most of these drivers thought the same thing.